What's up?
Hey man, we're here to shoot episode 10.
Here at the studio, episode 10.
Yep. I think we should talk about some bird dogging, what the pros are there,
Yeah.
and maybe even what happened with you recently with that wholesaler who didn't want to work with you for some strange reason.
And then also, how much is your house worth? Or how can you tell how much your house is worth? I think that's a good one. For
Yeah, I
sellers
think
and for
that one's.
wholesalers.
Yeah, I think that one will work. And we gotta have our fun question.
Yeah, that's the one I'm waiting for.
Yeah, me too.
It's gonna be a good one, guys.
It's gonna be a good
Stay
one.
tuned.
Stay tuned. Cool. How's it going, everybody? Here we are at Ask Wholesale, episode 10.
10.
We're finally in the double digits. Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
That's crazy.
I didn't even realize that this was gonna go this far. To be honest with you, I'm pretty pumped actually.
Yeah, I am too. I got the chills.
You go 10 episodes. Wait, we got like 6 more, and that's a whole season. So,
And we're actually starting to go live too, so it's pretty cool. I don't know, this whole thing's is growing pretty great, so I'm happy about that.
we're putting out a lot of content, guys. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and any sort of social media that you can find us on. We'll be there. We got a lot of exciting things coming up here at Hilco Homes and Ask Wholesale and just everything that we've got coming up. I'm pretty pumped for everything that's coming out here pretty soon.
So this is episode 10, and guys, I'm sure you guys have seen our previous episodes, but basically what we do is we take your questions that you ask us, so ask away, and we basically answer them for you on this show, and that's kind of what we do. So right now we got a couple questions that came from Facebook that we would like to answer, and if you have any questions, drop them below. Do you want to start off with the first one? You want me to read it, or?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll read one word. You read the next word. Then no, I'm just kidding. So I can read it. I can read it, and I think that because you just recently went through it, you should answer it because I already.
You're telling me what to do now?
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. So here's the question. This question comes from a recent experience. Actually, it says, "What do you do when you come across a wholesaler, or anybody really, who doesn't want to work with you?" And Aaron just actually had this situation.
Yeah, so basically, guys, there's all types of lead generations, and basically co-wholesaling or piggybacking off of another wholesale deal is actually a lead source. And so basically, this dude had reached out to me back in October. He actually reached out to me from one of my bandit signs, and he called and asked basically, "Hey, are you an investor or a wholesaler?" I said, "A wholesaler," and he was like, "Okay. Well, do you have a good buyer's market, a good buyer's list?" And I said, "Yeah, we do. We have a pretty good size." And he said, "Okay, can you help me move this deal?" This was back in October, and I told him, "Sure, give me the details and all that stuff on it." So, anyways,
give me the deets.
The deets. I was about to say deets, but I don't know if everybody's that hip. I don't know if people know what's up.
Oh, cool guy over here. All right, cool.
So basically, ran the numbers, and I told him we were way off. This is what we needed to be. That's another thing, guys. If you get a deal from another wholesaler, you want to make sure that you run your numbers and treat it like it's a brand new deal, because you don't want to. You're not saying that they're wrong, but you just want to make sure that you're running your own numbers because you know what you need to be at, because you don't want to ruin a reputation with your buyers and blast out properties at high prices and whatnot. So you always want to run your own numbers. So
guys, that's just let me interject there really quickly. Guys, that's huge. Wholesalers have gotten a bit of a bad reputation because they're just putting out other wholesalers' deals and other people's deals without actually running the numbers and without actually checking to see if they're good deals. If you're putting out deals, other people's deals and other people's deals and other people's deals, that's fine. You want to piggyback? Cool. There's a lot of people who do that, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're putting out deals at the numbers that the other person says, that the other wholesaler says, just for the sake of just trying to shoot it out, it's not. You might get a bad reputation. That's how a lot of us wholesalers got a bad reputation. Not me. I have a great reputation. I put out great numbers, but it's just what I'm saying is just double check your numbers, trust but always verify. Just don't just go throwing deals out all willy nilly, because remember, it's not even really a deal unless the numbers make sense.
Right.
So go on.
So I told him where we needed to be, and he was like, "Yeah, man, that's too low." Blah blah blah. Anyways, I had constantly kept. I basically just put him on. He didn't want to. He didn't want to budge. He didn't want to work with me since I was a wholesaler. So I said, okay, I put him on a follow up. Put him in a follow up, and back in December, he basically lost my number. Who's this? And so I told him who I was and this and that. Try to bring it back to life. He still had the property. Same thing. Didn't want to work with me. Didn't want me to help move it. Right. So I placed him on another follow up, and I actually followed up with him this past Monday. Right. So it's already been. This was October. We're already
November, December, January, February. 4 months.
4 months already. He still has it. I said, hey, like, let me help you move it. He started getting very offensive as far as why do I want to piggy off of his deal, and basically saying that he's not going to split fee with anybody who didn't do any work. And really, guys, it's not that we're not doing any work. It's, we're actually going to end up bringing a buyer to him. He's going to make some money. We're going to make some money. And then you just move on to the next deal. There's I tried to. I'm not the type to say, well, forget this guy or whatever. I'm just not like that. So I try to, get him to understand, like, it's not about the money. It's not about me not doing anything if that's what he thinks. I said, it's about doing deals together, whether it's with another investor, whether it's with another wholesaler. If the numbers work, and everybody wins. But if you have somebody that just doesn't want to work with you, I mean, there's nothing you can do. And what I urge is, if you're a new wholesaler, you're trying to grow as a wholesaler and build your buyer's network, you don't want to push people away who are trying to help you. You want to utilize those people. You know what? I'm not going to make as much as I want to make, but you know what? If he can bring me a buyer and I can create a deal with him, then maybe on the next deal, I can shoot it to him again. And I can end up making more money in the long run than trying to make a slam dunk in 4 months and I haven't even sold it. So, if you have somebody that just gives you pushback, there's even some investors that understand wholesaling and understand, like, hey, I know you want to make some money. Let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. If there's somebody that's willing to work with you, work with them. If they don't want to work with you, I mean, it's kind of hard. You just can't force them.
A couple things about what he said. He's right. Piggybacking is a lead source. There's a community. There's a real estate community here. There's a real estate community everywhere. There's wholesaling everywhere. You can do it. And if somebody doesn't want to work with you, I mean, there's no reason for that, guys. We need to get out of this scarcity mentality. I want to make that painstakingly clear, that you need to not think, oh, this is my deal, this is my nest egg, I've got my little deal, and I'm gonna take care of it, and I'm gonna cultivate it, and nobody else can touch my deal. Like, come on, man. There's more than enough money, there's more than enough deals, there's more than enough people and community to go around, and there's more than enough people out there that want to help you get these deals done. You know what? When I first started wholesaling, I started working with a couple wholesalers that helped me get my first few deals done. Other than Marco, he helped me get my first few deals done. He walked me through that. But, I co-wholesaled a couple of my first deals, and now I have a long-standing relationship with those wholesalers, and they're the first people I call. Like I call them as soon as I get something, even if I haven't even got it locked up yet. I call them and say, hey, this is what I'm working. See if you can start searching for a buyer. Now, there's that. Do not have that scarcity mentality, because there's more than enough money and more than enough deals. Second thing I want to touch on is this specific situation that happened to Aaron, where the guy says, well, I don't want you to make any money. I don't think it's fair that you make any money if you're not doing any work. Like, what do you mean you're not doing any work? I've been a salesman for most of my life, up until I got into real estate. Selling is hard, because you're not just going to be like, oh yeah, I found a buyer. He totally wants to give you $100,000 for this house. No, the buyer's going to give you pushback. The buyer's going to negotiate. You're going to have to learn about the house. You're going to have to know how many bedrooms it is, you're going to have to run your own numbers, just like he said. You're going to have to do all that stuff. The only thing you didn't have to do was negotiate with the seller and write out a contract. So you're still doing work. So somebody who says, well, I don't think it's fair that you make money without doing work, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, because there's work on the back end. If there wasn't work on the back end, he would have already had that deal sold. Am I right or am I wrong? I'm right. I know I'm right. It's one of my favorite lines ever was from that movie, Hustle and Flow, where he goes,
it's been a while.
No, Get Rich or Die Trying. It's Get Rich or Die Trying, where he goes, when I'm right, I'm right. And even when I'm wrong, I could have been right. So it's like I was right the whole time, even though I was wrong. That's me. So, but yeah, just two things. Don't worry about the scarcity mentality. Don't have that mentality. And two, just know that everybody's working. If somebody brings you a buyer, know that they had to work for that buyer.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a couple things there. So don't worry about people who don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about them.
So, good question. Our next question is actually, what's the difference between, what are the pros and cons of a bird dog fee versus an assignment fee?
So, there's different pros and cons for each of those things. And actually, they're pretty interchangeable too. So there's a few pros for a bird dog fee. With a bird dog fee, if I'm a bird dog person and I say, hey, I've got this property over here at 123 Main Street, Aaron, here's the address. See what you can do to work it.
I've been to that house. I've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
123 Main?
123 Main. So, 123 Fake Street? How about that one?
Yeah?
Okay, cool. Yeah, 123 Fake Street, man. That one's a doozy. Watch that first step. So, I take that address and I hand it to Aaron. Aaron does the skip tracing. Aaron does the negotiation. Aaron does the contracting the deal. Aaron coordinates the deal and all that stuff. And at the end, when everybody gets nice and paid, you walk away with your $250, $300, whatever the deal was, right? And you didn't have to do any work. All you had to do was write down an address and send it over. That's technically, I mean, you did a little bit, but it's not a lot, right? A con of that is you're only walking away with $250. So the less work you put in, the less money you're gonna make. So you want to put in some more work for that bird dog. Like, I don't know, find the phone number, find a good contact information, find the name of the seller, find out whether or not they're motivated, whether or not they want to sell. Then you've got a solid generated lead that you can hand to him and say, hey, I got this lead. They want to sell. They're around the price point that you need to be at, probably, maybe. And here's their phone number. Here it is. Now I can, if Aaron wants to say, yeah, I'll give you $200 for it. Whoa, wait a second. I worked for this, so I want 1,000. Okay, yeah, we can do 1,000 because you put in a little bit of extra work. So,
and usually the ones that you get, if you're somebody that goes out and looks for houses, usually the phone number comes from some type of marketing you did. So maybe you put out bandit signs and you're not sure what wholesaling is or how to go about it. You just want to hand it over to somebody else. Well, you did do some work to get that phone number. So that's what I was saying. For example, somebody did that to me and said, hey, here's a person's phone number. I don't want to work it. You can work it, but here's their phone number. If you get a deal out of it, just give me $1,000 so I can buy more bandit signs. I was like, okay, cool. So we started working it. I mean, we're still working it, but the point is we got a phone number. That was just another lead that we didn't even, I mean, it was just somebody that just gave it to us. Like, here.
So pros for bird dog is less work. Cons are less money. Now, that's interchangeable with an assignment fee. An assignment fee is, the pro is you make the big bucks. You can get upwards of $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 fees, right? But that goes with all the legwork, negotiating, dealing with crazy sellers, because you'd be surprised what kind of crazy sellers there are out there. Yeah. Some weird people. You recently just had one with 11 heirs.
Oh, yeah.
11 there was sellers. 11 sellers on this deed. They were all the heirs of the property, and they all had to go in and sign. Excuse me. Some of them didn't even live in Texas, right?
No.
Some of them lived in California.
I forgot. I don't even know where.
Other states, and they had to be brought in to. It's 11 different people who had to sign on the seller side. So you have to put in that extra legwork if you're going to do an assignment fee, versus, if you're going to actually wholesale and do an assignment fee or double close, however it is you decide to wholesale. But again, pros, big bucks. Cons are all the work you have to do, all the hair pulling that you're going to have to because it can get frustrating. I love it. I love what I do. I love what we do. But there are points in time where you just want to rip your hair out. But I mean, like I said, that's why.
Or in your case, your beard.
Yeah, in my case, my beard. But again, that's why we get paid the big bucks. So those are the pros and cons of bird dog versus assignment
That
fees.
was a real good question. Whoever asked that, awesome. That was a good question.
I think that was Hernando, right?
Was it Hernando?
Hernando Arce. Yeah, he's a pretty avid follower. Hey Hernando, here's a shout out here on our show.
What's up?
So the next question somebody asked, how do you sell your house without knowing what it's worth?
Or if you're a wholesaler and you're not sure what it's worth either.
Yeah,
I think that was. I think when we got that question, it was from a seller. It was on the seller side.
Yeah,
so we can answer both ways.
So we can answer both ways. How do you sell your house? If you're a seller, and how do you sell your house without knowing what it's worth? You don't. It's like I said, you got to find out what it's worth, and then you have to take into consideration what kind of rehab it is. And as a seller, it's really easy to overlook all the things, all the little stuff that you see in your house that may or may not be damaged. Like, oh man, yeah, I forgot there was a leak under the sink. That might be a plumbing issue. Oh man, I forgot 5 years ago we had a hailstorm and it broke through the roof and I never got that fixed. And now I have a leak in the
I've been walking sideways for 5 years. I forgot that I was walking sideways.
Oh man, Aaron sent me a picture of a house the other day. Text message conversation went like this. So he sent me a picture of the house. He says, "You think this one's got foundation issues? The house was leaned like this." I said, "Man, that house leans like a cholo, man." I said, that definitely has foundation issues." And it was like a 1,500 or 2,000 square foot house. Wasn't a really big house.
It was it was close to, it was like 1,800.
1,800 square feet house, and it was completely slanted. I'm talking about like it looked like it was on a seesaw.
I don't know if I took the picture crooked or what was going on.
I was like, were you wearing both shoes when you were taking this picture? But you have to find out what the house is worth. If you're a seller, it's easy to overlook all the damages and all the little repairs that you forgot about because you live there. So what you want to do is you want to get somebody who is experienced, somebody like myself or Aaron, or maybe an appraiser or somebody that's a realtor, something to that effect, to go in and look around and say, okay, yeah, this might cost foundation issues, this might cost this might cost that, and then you go and then they run their numbers and then they run their comps and then they provide you with a fair value. I mean, it's just they're not gonna. I never lowball somebody. I might be way off on price. But I never lowball somebody to the point just for the sake of lowballing. If I can be at 40 and they're asking 40, I'll do that. But if I have to be at 40 and they're at 80, they feel like they're getting lowballed, but they're actually not. I'm just being realistic. Anyways, so get somebody who knows what they're doing to come and value your house, so that way you can properly price it. The only reason real estate does not move or sell is because it's too expensive for the area.
Yeah, same thing with wholesaling. If you're the wholesaler and you're not sure what the house is worth, same thing. Reach out to a realtor, reach out to another wholesaler, reach out to somebody that can give you that accurate information. Because, guys, I know sometimes some of you guys use Zillow, but Zillow's not. I mean, sometimes Zillow's higher, sometimes it's lower. Basically, it's, Zillow's just what somebody puts on there, what they think the house is worth, when on MLS, it's actually what the houses are actually selling for. So just kind of know that difference. Just reach out to somebody, that huge network out there.
Yeah, and as you grow, you'll start knowing. Like, I know certain areas, the houses, right, even if it's a 3-2, it's not gonna go past 100,000. You pick up that same house and you move it to a completely different area, it's $300,000 house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's eventually you start learning and you start realizing. Somebody comes and shoots me a house where the ARV is $300,000, but it, no offense, but it's in 78207. I know that's not. That's way off.
Right.
I know that's way off. I think 3.2s maybe max 110 over there. Max? Maybe. So, I mean, somebody, you start learning that stuff. So, but yeah, until you can kind of figure it out off the top of your head, get somebody who knows what they're doing and have them value the house for you. Is the best way if you don't know what it's worth. You should never try and sell anything without knowing all the information about it.
Right.
So, there's
awesome.
Yeah, that was a great question too, man. I really like that. Because there's a lot of people who, well, what should I sell it at? There's your answer. So we've answered a few questions from Facebook. We've answered some questions through situations that we've recently been in. Hopefully if you guys have more questions, remember to drop them in our inbox or comment them below, or make sure to pay attention to our live video so you can ask those questions. If we don't get to them in the video, we'll get to them in the Ask Wholesale. But now we move on to my favorite part of the show.
Before we go into that, guys, I also just want to add, you can also follow us on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, just type in Hilco Homes. We have all of our Ask Wholesale episodes on there, so you can go back and look at them, and basically, see what we've been answering and what we've been asking.
Yeah. So you could definitely, just follow us on YouTube also. That'll totally work. Just exactly what Aaron just said.
Boom. But what were you saying about? So we'll go ahead. I kind of took the reins on that one.
It's all right. It's all right. I forgive you, kind of. But so anyways, the next question is my favorite part, is the fun question, because this actually kind of gets us, guys. When you ask us questions, we have no problem answering the fun questions. Somebody asked me yesterday. He was actually a Green Bay Packers fan, right? And he knew that I was a Cowboys fan.
It's already interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, it's already an interesting conversation, right?
Like, did you hit him?
So no. This guy lived in Wisconsin, so he reached out to me, and he was like, and I told him, he reached out to me on Facebook, and I was messaging him. I said, cool, you know what? I got some time at about 2:45. Give me a call. Write down whatever questions you have, and we'll talk about them. Right. So one of his questions was actually a fun question, and he asked me. He goes, so knowing that you're a Cowboys fan, and I know you don't like the Packers, what? Let me ask you this. Did Dez catch it? And if you're a Cowboys fan, you know exactly. Dez caught it. So if you're a Cowboys fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So to answer that question, yes, he caught it.
Yes, he did.
He caught it. Dean, he caught it. So that one's for you, Dean. He definitely caught it. No question about it. Anyways.
That still goes around.
Yeah.
That still goes around.
Yeah, I know. The Eagles won a Super Bowl with the exact same catch, but the Cowboys did it. Anyways. Today's fun question is, what's the biggest cultural shock you've noticed anywhere? I guess that means, if you've traveled.
Well, a culture shock for me, I got two. Can I say two?
Yeah, man.
So two, basically, I don't remember where I was.
I think 1.5. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I was in California or somewhere. And what's one thing that Texas we always say y'all. We always say huh, right? Huh? Or y'all. Huh? I forgot. There's another one out there that only Texas people use. Well, anyways, we started using these words that only like y'all or huh, and they were like looking at us like we're like, and they knew right away. They're like, "Hey, are y'all from Texas?" And we were like, "Yeah."
No, they didn't say y'all. They said, "Are you?"
Are you from Texas? And
are you all from Texas?
And I said, "Yeah." We were like, "Yeah." How do you know? Well, because we never heard that word y'all before. Like, you could just tell. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, it's weird though. You don't think about it, but that is true. Another thing is, we were actually at a bar downtown here in San Antonio, and a lot of us, what we do, we basically, like a Dos Equis, you'll throw the salt on the bottle,
salt,
right? The lime and the salt, and you lick it and drink it and all that. Well, there was these guys there came up to us and they're like, "Hey, what are y'all doing? Like, what is that?" And we told them it's a culture thing, dude. Like San Antonio, like
Dos Equis with
like
salt
what do you mean?
Dressed,
like I even know people that use chamoy, and he was like, "Well, we're from New York. I've never seen that done before. How's it taste?" And we're like, "Well, get one, dude. Like, try it, And he tried it, and he was like, "Oh, shoot, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to start doing this when I go back to New York, make it a thing over there." But it was, and I'm over here talking like he's country.
Yeah. That's Aaron. By the way, that's Aaron's impression of everybody. Literally everybody. He could be impersonating a 5-year-old little girl, and she's gonna talk like this.
I don't know. It's just something that I do. But yeah, so like I think it's weird like that. You don't think about that. I was like, oh shoot, like that's something that only we do here. Like, I mean, I was gonna talk about another one, but I think you're gonna talk about it.
Which one? The
barbacoa.
Oh yeah, the barbacoa.
So that's my culture. That's my culture shock when I'm like, oh, how do people not like? It's just a normal thing to us, but it's not normal to them.
Yeah. So and you know what? There's culture shocks even within the same state. I've lived everywhere in Texas. I was born in Laredo. I've lived here in San Antonio. I lived in Dallas, Houston, Austin, a bunch of different places. And it's funny because when I was living in Dallas, I went over there on a sales for a sales gig, right? And I actually have two as well. So this is the first one. I went over there for a sales gig, and I was young. I was maybe about 20. I was maybe about 23, maybe 24 years old. Not even 24 years old. I was probably about 23 years old. And I went over there, and I had taken a good buddy of mine. Shout out to you, Roro. You know who you are. And he And we had partied one night, and the next day we were like, man, you know what would be great right now for the hangover? Some barbacoa and Big Red. And a buddy of ours who was from Dallas was like, barbacoa and Big Red? Why that specific combination? We're just like, it's just what we eat. Is like, what do you? I mean, we just had a party last night. You know, what do you want for the hangover? And he's like, I don't know, maybe some pancakes. I was like, that's gross. So I mean, pancakes are delicious. Pancakes are always great, right? But it's just for me in my head, whenever I was like, so you don't eat Big Red and barbacoa? And he goes, no, I don't. I mean, I eat barbacoa every once in a while, and I'll get, you know, a Coke with it or something. But you guys specifically said Big Red and barbacoa, and I was like, so what do you guys eat on Sundays then? So it was weird for me because they don't do that, and so that's one, and then another one is pretty funny because it wasn't even a culture shock. It was just a cultural difference that I noticed. When my girlfriend moved over here to San Antonio, we went to Freddy's Steakhouse, right? Freddy's Steakhouse is based out of Kansas or Alabama. I don't remember. It's
Alabama.
Alabama. It's like southern-ish, right? But it's not Texas, right? So my girlfriend ordered chicken strips, right? Chicken fingers. And she goes, man, this service is terrible. I go, why? She goes, they didn't even give me gravy for my chicken tenders. And I was like, what? And she goes, they didn't even give me gravy. Like, what am I supposed to eat my chicken tenders with? Barbecue sauce? Ketchup? And I'm like, well, yeah, because Freddy's Steakhouse is based out of Kansas or wherever it's based out of. They don't have gravy with chicken tenders. She's like, well, what do they eat their chicken tenders with? I'm like, I don't know, ketchup, I guess. She's like, but that's weird because Whataburger always gives me gravy with my chicken tenders. I was like, Whataburger's based out of Texas. So she was tripping out that anywhere would give you chicken tenders without gravy. So it's just like a culture shock because the restaurants from other places that are based out of somewhere else will not do the Texas barbecue, will not do the Texas cooking style.
That reminds me, I went to Twin Peaks in Miami, and we asked them to dress it, and they said, what is that?
Did they bring it out with a little t-shirt on there?
They're like, come on. We're like, the salt. Oh, we can bring it in a little thing for you.
I was like, no, I want you to do it for me.
All right, bring me in a little cup.
Yeah, that's so weird, man. Yeah, and it's weird. You go to the bars nowadays, and it's always the first question they ask you because it's like, hey, let me get Dos Equis. You want it dressed? Like, cause you know, and me, I don't always have it dressed, so I'm always just like, nah, I like my Dos Equis naked. So
yeah, same.
So, but yeah, so that was. Why don't you guys go ahead and inbox us your questions, or maybe even inbox us your stories about culture shocks that you had. That was this episode of Ask Wholesale. I think we did pretty great. So,
episode 10, guys.
Episode 10.
Gone through it, so we appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, share below. Follow us on YouTube.
Reach out to us if you need to, if you
want to.
Myself,
Aaron, or Juan.
Yourself, Aaron, or Juan. Yourself, Marco, or Juan.
What?
Yeah, you said myself, Aaron, or Juan.
I did say that. Shoot.
So shoot. There you go. But guys, thanks for tuning in. It was great. These are some great questions. Keep them coming. We're gonna keep answering your questions. We're gonna keep trying to make it fun for you guys. And like I said in our Facebook Live video, we got some really, really interesting things coming up for you guys. So make sure to keep that. Make sure to stay tuned. We got some big things coming for you guys. You guys should love this. We'll see y'all next time.
Later, guys.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Juan Bustos, Acquisitions Manager with Hilco Homes here. And what we are is basically just a wholesale company. And we're looking for quality individuals to join the team. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a background as to why I joined and why I'm still continuing to on this path with Hilco. A couple of years ago, I wanted to get into real estate. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no clue how to even start. And I reached out to my partner, Marco, and we started working together. All I did was ask for some advice, and his willingness to help and guide me was a huge help throughout this entire process. And we kind of forged that into a partnership. We started bringing on some more people, and I went from trying to negotiate $1,000 deal to trying to negotiate 56 units, which is going to be one of our biggest deals if we can lock it down and get it done. A couple of years ago, I would have never even thought about trying to negotiate 56 units. But with the teamwork and guidance that I received at Hilco from Marco, from the other team members, I'm able to even contemplate that, and that's growth right there just by being part of a team. Because we don't just want to have individuals be acquisitions or sales or whatever it may be. We want people to grow into investors. We want people to grow as people so that they can accomplish what their goals are. So if you want to join us, if this is where if you think this is going to be a good fit for you, reach out to us on Facebook, inbox us, email us, whatever it may be, and we'll get you started on the hiring process.